So I'll quickly repeat that since we don't have that recording. I'll quickly repeat this particular first volume here. Now, by this time, you should have a clear understanding how the implementation goes on, right? Do anyone have any doubt on that?
Clear.
Right. In a short, to understand this, uh, okay, the client, let's say client ABC, he has decided to go with SAP implementation. Now, SAP itself is an implementation company. Also, it has given a license model. Okay, license model. So, any industry companies which are in which have the eligibility or which fits to the norms of that particular license eligibility, they can get this license and they can also do implementation on behalf of SAP. Okay, so this is a model general. Now, each company which has a license to do implementation, they give their own quotations for client, and client will need client after doing the quotation studies and analysis, it will pick up one quotation, and for the rest of the companies, it will send the rejection letter. Okay, so that is general. Now we are trying to understand what is the requirement which client is proposing and how the implementation side partners they are responding to that. Now here we have seen that this client, it is into operations since couple of years, 8 years, and then it has a good growth path. Now it has decided to streamline the business process to targeting the high rate of growth. So it understood that SAP is an effective tool which will serve the needs related to the system and business process. Now the scope of work document says that supply, implementation and support of SAP is one part. This also include configuration of SAP system and customization wherever required. Now, client also will purchase the hardware requirements and database licenses separately. It will not include in these particular proposals. And supply of hardware is not part of this request for proposal. However, it asks the implementation, ERP implementer to provide suitable industry standard hardware, network, and infrastructure recommendations to support transactions as per the business needs of the client. Also, they are saying that the hardware recommendation is, since it's an important part for the implementation, the recommendation should be submitted in a format as which is mentioned in the project timelines. Apart from this, the other areas are like in the scope of work, change management and training for clients, ABC officials, along with data migration process. Now, when you're talking about the key deliverables, which needs to be promised by the ERP implementer is, implementation shall include, but not limited to the deliverables. What are these? The following deliverables are like one is software, SAP software, supply of SAP software, installation and configuration of SAP system to facilitate seamless enterprise-wide integration. This is one particular deliverable. Software is supplied by ERP implementer. Remember that. Installation is also done by ERP implementer. Basis team. Basis is the technical team which do these installations. Okay. This installation is basis team. Supply of this is business team. Okay. Business, and then configuration of SAP system depends on the modules which are implemented. Let's say functional modules and technical modules. So functional modules like say FI. So configuration is role of FI consultants, CO. MM, SD, PP, HR, like this. What are the modules which are implemented? Those consultants should configure the system. This is how the model goes on. Now, okay, streamline enterprise-wide integration. And then implementation services. The implementation services like, what are these? The ERP implementer must develop a comprehensive and detailed approach and strategy. What is that like? Here, there are some strategies or methodologies. One is project scope and plan. One is overall implementation plan and work plan, migration test plan, testing plan, and training plans, along with cutover and commissioning plan. Now, customization development. Also, it recommends that the customization and the developments for this implementation should be kept minimum as far as possible, and these also should be best industry practices. So, see how the testing, for example, testing, how the testing is done. I'll show you. There are some cases, test cases. Okay, see, for example, so like this, they generate the test cases, okay, and this particular scenarios should be tested. These are transaction codes. This should be tested, and then here we need to give the results. Like there will be some proper template. Here we will be giving a result whether this test case is pass or fail. If fail, what are the concerns? Okay, like this. These are development. If you see a transaction code starting with Z or the process here, they have developed, they have customized, a few of the requirements. These are some real-time project, test cases which someone has asked me to help them. So like this, the test cases goes on, and then testing plan comes with the different testing methodologies. Again, testing, tools. Now these are, again, if you look at the testing methodology, we have seen also in the last session, like it is unit testing, performance and volume testing, system integration testing, likewise user acceptance testing. Okay, these are few testing methodologies. Along with this, training also should be provided to clients, IT staff, and business staff. So functional and technical trainings both should be provided. We also seen like what are the different, classes of users. One is end user, key user, and power users. So likewise, according to the job roles, the training also will be provided at application end, at technical end also. Now, when you look at the data migration, implementer will provide a data migration plan and also will be responsible for all data migrations. So implementer will provide all the data master formats to ensure proper data migration. Even some cases, if you see in implementation, this particular data migration is outsourced as a separate project. It is outsourced as a separate project. So there are so many third-party players in the market who can take up this, and who does their with their own methodology, with their own different tools. By default, SAP supports standard. SAP provides standard tools and supports this data migration. What are these standard tools? Is one tool is LSNW, Legacy System Migration Workbench. One tool is BDC, Batch Data Communication. Apart from this, there are different methods like iDocs, intermediary documents. Likewise, we have BAPIs, okay, interfaces. Here we are creating some interfaces. Of course, this is a different story again. BAPI is like business application programming interfaces. Okay, so these are widely used tools: LSNW, BDC. Okay, we'll see this. BDC requires programming knowledge. Means you need to be a programming skilled person. So that's the reason I have not included this part in the training. But whereas LS&W, it requires very less knowledge on that side. So I had included LS&W. We'll use LS&W more for data migrations. And then managing go live events. When you talk about go live events,
Sir, I have a question here.
yeah, yeah,
For the BDC, you need to have programming skill, right?
yes, yes.
Which programming skill they
C,
are looking?
C structure.
Okay.
Okay. Usually, a person who is good in C language, they can easily understand this and they can easily work with this.
Okay.
What happens here is functional consultant general in job. What happens is they divide the job based on the functionality. Usually, functional consultant will not be given access to write ABAP code. That never happens
Okay.
in project. It never happens. But there are some areas where functional consultants can take over the technical areas, like what I'm saying right now, data migration, one area. And another part is like writing the technical specifications for developments, new developments, writing the technical specifications. So those are things. For that, if a functional consultants have the understanding of technical areas or has the technical knowledge, that helps them to stand in the market, and this particular profile will survive in the project in many areas. Okay. Now, managing go live event. This go live event, it provides a detailed list of activities. There will be so many, list of activities, like where we should have a pre-close of configurations. Then we'll need to make sure that our system is ready, all the testing is done. Like we see, the project plan submitted by the vendor must ensure the activities are completed before the event. What is that? Before the go live event, hardware procurement, purchases of hardware, and deployment of hardware should be completed before go live event. All training programs must be completed before the go live event, and the go live event will be dependent on the successful UAT sign off. What is UAT sign off? What is UAT sign off? Can
The
anyone?
users must accept the procedure that is happening, right? If they post something that should work properly, then they sign off the
Anil?
User
Yeah, yeah. Triveni.
user.
Triveni. Triveni, you will answer. What is that?
I think user acceptance testing. I know user acceptance in it.
Yeah. So it is, yeah, Anil, what you said is right. So it is here user acceptance testing. Okay. User acceptance testing. Now here what happens is, in general, I'm giving you this idea of general in business terminology and in SAP. SAP, here we are looking at this as UAT, okay, user acceptance testing. Whereas this is in business, we call them as process owners. What is this process owners? Any idea? Who are the
Top level.
process? No, 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 not top level.
I think the end users, whoever
No,
working on those
no, no,
fields.
no, no. Anil, would you like to type? Who are called as process owners?
Subject matter experts,
No. This
Senior
is
man.
uh,
SMEs.
SME. This is no. This is different. No, Anil, I can't hear your voice. See, process owners. Uh, Triveni, what you said is more near to the answer. They are the like say we can say managers. Okay, usually. You see the case of payment. Who does the payments in an organization? There will be one concerned hierarchy, right? Like manager, he does the payment. So he is a payment. If payment is a process, the owner for this is a payment manager. Understood? So here process owners are usually managers. And then this is one example I'm talking about payment. Like this, there are so many areas in the business side. When there is a data transfer, when there is a data input or posting of the transactions or processing, there are so many. For example, leave process. Who will be head for the leave process? Based on the hierarchy. Okay, for employees, some person will be the head for the leave approvals. So this is one process owner. So what happens here is UAT. The whole bottom line of this explanation is the UAT sign off will be done by process owners. Okay. Now, and then post go live support. Okay, post go live support. The ERP implementer will provide hand holdings on on-site support for at least 6 months after go live stage. So what is the agreed support after implementation? 6 months. Remember, this is very important point here. Why I'm stressing this much here is, now in your implementation, when you keep your implementation experience in your resume, interviewer is asking you a question. He wants to check your knowledge, even though there are two cases at the time of interview. One, interviewer may understand that you are fake or manipulating experience, or he may feel that you are genuine. Okay, to understand this, what he will be doing, he will be asking a real-time question. Real-time question, this is generally the term which is heard most of the times. What is a real-time question? Like this, it's a real-time question, because a person who does the implementation, they understand how much support they should provide as per the agreements. So if interviewer is asking, hey, you have kept your resume that you worked for particular ABC project. So initially, what was the agreement to do the hand holdings or to support the client? So most of us, we don't know, right, answers, but these informations are provided in this kind of a document. Okay, so here it is at least 6 months after go live stage to resolve what? To resolve all implementation, operational and production issues, and provide hand holdings support. Hand holding is support. All the documents also will be converted to final release versions during this stage. And the post go live support will address all user level queries, along with fixing of bugs, incorporation of new requirements owing to legal, statutory, and policy changes. Changes to configuration, patch updates, upgrades, database administration, security. All this covers under this. Okay. Now, for this purpose, the bidder is expected to provide detailed processes to be followed for logging requests. Okay. So it also says that how the assigning requests should be to be specific individuals, recording resolutions, tracking overall time taken for resolution, etc. These are all timelines. Definitely in support area, we should clearly mention how a case is treated, what are the priority levels, how this particular issue is addressed to, and within what timeline this issue will be resolved. Okay, so that index also we have, we'll see that in the next volume. Now, hardware requirements, again it says like whoever's doing this implementation, the ERP implementer is required to provide the detailed configuration of proposed development, test and production server environments as per business and technical requirements. Okay, The recommendations for the hardware should consider the following. What is that? Recommended hardware should be industry standard and have high reliability, fault redundancy, fault tolerance and redundancy, and high availability. This is one clause. And also the recommendation hardware and software should support the requirements for a minimum period of 5 years post of the acceptance of the solution. We are talking like saying that hardware. Software, of course, we know that this is SAP software. How to understand? How to know the hardware? Now there could be one question, saying like, what is your server's hardware requirement or hardware, information? To know that, what we can do. See, once I logged into SAP system status. Once I click this system status, it will give me my technical description of my server. See, this is my component version. This is my installation number, license expiration, Unicode. Okay, this is operating system, which is into Windows NT. The machine type. This is the machine type. Okay. Likewise, this is a database system. This particular server, it is hosted in SQL, MS SQL. Okay. Likewise, we have different informations related to the software components, licenses, databases, and hosting on which servers. Machine type. This is the machine type hardware. Okay. Apart from this, also we can see complete structure. Okay. I'll show it in coming days. So like this also we can check complete server access, server details and all. So when you're preparing for your interview, these are the base points. We should prepare all these points so that if the interviewer wants to check your real-time, knowledge or awareness, then you can answer that, immediately. It will help you. Also, the recommendations from ERP implementer, it should be, it should survive for a period of 5 years at least post, accepting the solution. Now, network requirements. What are the network requirements? ERP implementer should provide the details of network requirements for the proposed solution. The reason is in the coming years, okay, in the coming years, the client has option to expand its operations in different locations in different countries. Okay, that's the idea. So network plan should support any of the architectural, architecture should meet new high availability requirements and also high security standards. Now, project management. The ERP implementer should propose a suitable project manager or a team with expertise to meet the requirements. What are that? Like ensure timely delivery of all deliverable related to ERP as I mentioned in this RFP, suggest the hardware and network requirements, evaluation support evaluation of hardware and networking proposals for procurement, oversee delivery and installation of IT infrastructures, likewise oversee network implementation, coordination between various stakeholders and suppliers, likewise manage the total project and ERP delivery, customization and implementations, coordination for the site preparations. So there are a list of requirements which are mentioned by the client. Based on this, the the workforce will be sent to the client place from ERP implementer. So these are general deliverables. We'll see the second volume of this. Anil?
Second.
Yeah, fine.
Now I
So,
can.
yeah. Now here we are looking at the change management. This is one of the important areas we need to understand, this change management. What is this change management here talking? If you see, implementation of new business processes or changed business processes. And I'll just mute your mic. So implementation of new or changed business processes will definitely will affect the users who are working in the ABC. Means now with the for example, I'll give you more practical example. Try to understand this. If you have a question, just let me know. Okay. See, now ABC structure. ABC is our client. ABC structure. It says that it is group of company, and it has two company codes, two companies under the belt. One is ABC1, another one is ABC2. These are two companies under the belt of group of company. ABC1 has plant A, and ABC2 also has plant B. Okay. Now it also has sales organization. Okay. Sales organization. It also has sales organization. Now this is the structure which we have studied. We have understand that this is the client and this is the structure of this. Okay. Now we are implementing for ABC1. Means client has decided that it should go for implementation to first company called ABC1. Remember this, ABC1 has a plant, a sales organization along with its own entity, right? This is the structure, and users of ABC already habituated or already used to the structure, right? So when applying a solution in SAP, we understood that in SAP the structure is a little different. Okay, what happens here, group of companies, it is turned as company. This is a level of company in SAP, whereas this levels ABC1 and all, this is called company codes. Of course there are so many definitions and the rules which needs to be checked with when giving a status to any of the organizational unit. That we'll see when we are doing the enterprise structure. Now here, when this structure goes like this, company codes, and then here this is treated as plant only, plant A, and then this is sales organization A. Now after doing the study, we also recommended that there should be one plant, one production unit. Okay, of course production is it comes here, but I'm saying just giving one example that there should be one production unit, and then we also recommend that one storage. So we are recommending this. Okay, just an example, just for example I'm saying this. Now the structure has changed, right? This structure is changed compared to the past structure. Now users, they should be comfortable in adopting this new structure. If the structure is not properly designed, it will slow down the business process, and also it will affect the productivity, because final are end users who are using this solution. They should not get confused, or they should not be dropping down their productivity. Whenever a solution is applied by SAP, the production should increase, it should not decrease. If it is decreasing, it is a failure in implementation, right? So what happens here, if you see, it says that implementation of new or changed business process will affect users in ABC and require changes in the functional process followed. That is what happens. Okay, if you see the past example, during implementation, the ERP implementer will help in creating and maintaining effective communication and change management, vital to the success and adoption of the new change process. Okay, and also ERP implementer shall ensure change management to ensure the successful implementation and usage of SAP system by officials. Towards this end, implementer should detail out a plan to ensure change management focused on proper implementation of SAP. Right. So change management should be adaptable, flexible, and it should be increasing the productivity. It should not go around the different lines. If you see most of the implementations, they get failed because sometimes the change management concept is not designed properly or is not predicted properly, right? And documentation, when you look at the documentation here, this is one more real-time input which we need to understand. The first set of document is linked to functional, hardware, and security specifications of the project. If you understand these documents, or if you get this information, definitely you will understand complete picture of what to be done. Okay, and consultants will study the business processes and furnish the following documents. What is that? Project charter, as is document, BPP means business process blueprint documents, process mapping with ERP and gap analysis document, security and control specifications, hardware and networking plan. Okay, these are mandatory for completion of projects. And hardware and networking plan should be provided as per the stipulated time mentioned in section 3.4 on project timelines. Below it is there. I'll show that. So, and also it says that within this document, so that the timelines could be adhered to the terms of procurement and procurement of hardware. The second set of deliverables is linked to realization of the business blueprint. This will include installation and commissioning of the SAP modules, carrying out the customization, and achieving specific developments for ABC. The consultant will also furnish at least the following documents. What is that? These are the following documents: custom development functional specification document, custom development technical specification document, data migration strategy document, all user guides, unit and integration test scripts, user acceptance text scripts, cutover strategy document, installation procedure document, system administrator routine maintenance procedure document, any other as appropriate and identified during the course of project. See, these are the documents which get involved in the project. Okay, now this is one important. All documents should be handed over in 3 copies, legible, neatly and robust, bounded on A4 size, good quality paper. How the documents are submitted? Like this. See, as a consultant, you also need to prepare blueprints. That will be one of the job work. Okay, so blueprint means like again, I'm trying to give you some more input on the project side. When you're talking about blueprint, this is one document. Blueprint is it consists of as is process, okay, and based on as is, a to be model will be prepared. To be document, as is also one document, to be is also one document. Okay, now as a functional consultant, we are studying the non SAP environment of our client, ABC non-SAP environment. How it is, for example, it is like this. So just to give a picture as comparison, I'm doing like this. So this is a process in non-SAP environment, and this is the structure how it is. So this is documented in a as is document. By whom? By the functional consultants. Based on this document, we need to apply a solution. So to be model will be prepared. It is a proposed SAP system. To be document is a proposed SAP system. So let's say a SAP structure is like this, and we are bringing the structure here just to give a different view, different view here. So to be is a proposed system in SAP, right? When there is a gap between as is and to be, for example, when we are trying to bring the structure from here to here, few things are there are gaps. So those things will be recorded in gap document. Okay, gap document. We don't want to stop the implementation process because of this gap. Instead of that, what we do is we prepare one gap document and we move on doing the configuration. This gap documents or gaps will be resolved or tailored or given a solution based on that severity. This will be handled by senior consultants. If even they cannot resolve it, they will approach SAP, raise a ticket, and the SAP will take care of this. SAP initially give a tailored solution or alternate solution initially. If SAP feels that this gap should be also brought into release, or it should be really identified properly, then it will develop that particular event in the new release. In the new release it will release that particular gap as a solution. Okay, this is how it happens. Right now, as a consultant, what we need to do, we need to prepare this blueprint called as is document and to be document. Right, and then once we prepare this, how we need to submit these documents should be submitted like the requirement which client has said. 3 copies should be used. Also they said like the copy should be neatly robustly bounded with A4 size good quality paper. Also soft copies of this document should be in MS Word format, will also be submitted in the CDs along with the hard copies. So how you are preparing your documents in MS Word, that is what the client has asked us to do. Okay, all documents will be in plain English. So all statutory legal requirements shall be met in terms of reporting and process coverage. Yes.
Sorry, Shekhar.
Yes.
You said almost 15 documents above,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All of those documents, are we going to prepare them?
No, not one
Or
consultant. Not one consultant is allowed to do all this work.
so
It
mainly
is
we will be working on blueprint preparation.
usually you will be given a chance to work with the blueprints. Okay,
Okay.
and then if you are good in understanding the gap or developments, then you will be asked to prepare the functional specification document. Okay, if you are good at technical tables and the field names, then you will be asked to write a technical specification document. Right, I'll tell you how it is. See, we know that. Okay, I'm talking about a standard process. Generally this is happens in the project. You know the format of a check, right? We have pay and amount in words, right? Amount in words. Here we have the date, and then here we have amount, signature, right? So this is a general this is a information on bank check numbers, account, and details of the bank and all, right? So this is the thing. Now SAP standard check format is little different. It will be standard check format. Okay, it's a dummy one which comes with the server. The format will be like pay, and then here it has amount, inwards, amount, date, like this. It will not have the bank details. Okay, and signature. It will not have like this. Now, since you know that this is the check format, this is your functional requirement, which you have identified that it should be properly prepared like this. So you identify that there is a gap, and now you are writing a requirement. when you say to the above, who will be developing, the above people will be developing this, but you are giving information saying that, hey, see Mr. Abapar, you need to bring this particular address, account number, address and signature fields at this bottom of this structure. So what you said like address of bank, account number of bank, okay, and then a check number, and then signature. You have given this information, you have mentioned this in functional terms. The requirement which you are writing in functional term is called as functional requirement. Okay, if you see this, this is the document, custom development functional specification document. This is, you're customizing it, you're developing it, right? This is called as custom development. Okay, technical requirement or technical specifications means the same thing. Okay, same thing. For address, the table name is, for example, ADR1. Okay, field this is one particular field name, technical field name example. Okay, likewise for account, bank account, it like say BX321, this is one field name, technical field names. Likewise for check number, CH01. Likewise for signature, for example, something like this. If you are writing technical table names and asking Abapa to develop this, this is called technical specifications. Okay, custom development, technical specifications. For the same event, two ways we can write. One way, as our functional knowledge way, the Abapar will understand that and he will develop it in the technical, he will convert that functional requirement to technical and then he develops it. The other one is, if you are also good at technical understanding and technical structure and all, you write the information in technical field names so that the Abapar will understand it easily. That is called technical specification document or custom development technical specifications. So likewise, each document is different in business, in implementation. Data migration strategy, you know how data migration means, earlier also explained, right? From non-SAP system to SAP system, you need to migrate the data, right? So that document, so it is not one consultant job work, it is a share. If you're asked to work on data migration, then you need to prepare that particular document. If you're asked to write the functional specifications, means if you're identifying that requirements, then you will be asked to do that. Most commonly, blueprint is the one document which you will be allowed or which you will be required to write it. Okay, point clear?
Yeah.
See, again I'm telling you, these are the terminology which are quite common in interviews. That's the reason I'm giving more explanation on this terminology in the initial stage itself, because in coming in our course also we'll use more common terminologies which are definitely asked in the interview, and you also should use this terminology at the time of interview. So be prepared to that. And how you are preparing now, if I'm asking an interview, the question is like, as you are preparing your blueprints and all, how you are submitting your blueprints to client. The answer will be 3 sets of A4 size bond paper and the soft copy which is written on the CD, which is prepared with the MS Word format, right? This is the information, right? All documents should be handed over with the 3 copies with bond A4 size good quality paper, and also soft copies of the document is in MS Word format will also be submitted in CDs along with the hard copies. Mention this at the time of interviews. It gives an impression that even though your resume or even though an interviewer understands that you have not worked in the project, but giving this information, it clearly gives a good impression on the on interviewer, that he can hire you and send you to the client place. Remember that.
Okay.
And also here, all statutory legal requirements shall meet in terms of reporting and process coverage without additional effort. So here comes the project team structure. The next question, next practical question. When you keep in an interview, when you say that you have worked with the project, obviously the interviewer expects that you should know the team size. What is your project team size? The project team size, here it clearly mentions, see, the project organization will compromise the steering committee. Steering committee, it is the, it is a committee which is established, which starts when the project starts, and it dissolves itself when the project ends. Who are the members of the steering committee? The core project team from ABC and implementation partner side, partners, members from implementation partner side together forms a steering committee. What is the use of steering committee? Like whenever there is a decision to be made, the steering committee members can make it immediately. So that is the idea of steering committee. Okay, one of the point in steering committee. See, the bidders will describe the ERP implementation project organization in the bids. It is expected to have a senior functionary heading the project team supported by separate coordinators of various modules of implementation. Right. Now, steering committee. The purpose of steering committee is to meet periodically, typically monthly, to discuss overall status of the project. Any issues that affect the project from scope, timing, resource, cost standpoint, or that cannot be resolved at the work team level should be discussed and resolved by the steering committee. Overall responsibility of this committee is to maintain and set policy and directions for the project. Okay. The attendees from the ERP implementer in the steering committee meetings must be officials of senior management who will be able to take decisions on pertinent points. So that's the whole idea here. Now, the client members like ABC will define the project team compromising of ABC officials and consultants to support and facilitate ERP implementer. Okay, one part. Another part is the ERP implementer project team will consist of one project director, project managers, module leads, functional consultants, ABAP consultants, basis consultants, and change management consultants. So these many different types of layers you will have in the project. Project director, project managers or program managers, module leads, functional consultants, ABAP consultants, basis, change management. To which level you will be applying at the initial stage? Out of this, to which level you are thinking that you will be fitting or you should apply for?
Functional consultant.
Yes, functional consultant level. Okay, remember this role. About to you, next will be module leads. About to that, project managers, and then project directors. This is a general and a hierarchy, a standard hierarchy, right? So functional consultants, below to this functional consultant, associate consultants. I'll show you the hierarchy because sometimes they may confuse you or you need to get this knowledge also at the time of interview. It will help. When you're talking about functional consultants, below to this associate consultants, above to that senior functional consultants. Okay, on top of it module leads, right? So this comes, you are focusing on this area. After having one complete project experience in your experience with the real time, you will be promoted to senior functional consultant, and then you can expect your module leads. Okay. Now if a person in a project, if there is an urgency, even you will be lucky to have this role, senior functional role. But if you're having this role, what happens? You will be having functional consultants below to you who will be reporting to you, and you will also have associate consultants if required, if this process is available in the business. Okay, associate consultants, entry level, you can say that's more like an entry level who does not have a real time experience. Sometimes company also will hire them that levels, right? So typically this is the structure. Now usually if you follow the complete training methodology and documents and what are the work which we are running here, with after a course with 1 month of your complete homework and practice, you can apply for senior roles actually. But since there is a element of confidence which needs to be first brushed up, usually we recommend to go to functional consultants. If you see if you see the job in that particular live environment for 3 months, you can realize that you have more knowledge than that particular roles. Then again you can jump into another company for senior roles. That is what we should plan. Now ERP implementer project team, who all the members here: project director, project or program manager, module leads, functional consultants, technical consultant. These two are technicals. Okay, functional consultant is one layer, ABAP consultant is a programmer layer, basis consultant is a installation. Okay, software installations, patchworks, upgrades, server maintenance, all these things. Along with this, we also have change management consultants. These persons, what they do, they identify the changes. I mean, if there is a gap, how to do that particular, how to fill up that particular gap. Change management consultant will give a solution for that. Also, if there is a new incorporation of legal entity, or if there is a new incorporation of a process, the change management consultant will give a solution to that. Okay, fine. Now this is the project timelines which we were seeing earlier also. Table. See, this is actually a real-time data which I'm showing you. So that's the reason I have not changed most of that information. So here, project timelines. Based on this project timelines, the project will be running smoothly. Acceptance of the order and signing of the contract. This is done on particular date. Kickoff meeting. It is done on a particular date. Start of the project. Okay. Submission of the hardware plan. Completion of study. And finalization of as is process. What is as is process? We have seen this, right? What is as is process?
The whatever the
Blueprint.
whatever
What is that?
whatever they're following, whatever they're currently following, right?
Triveni?
Blueprint. As is,
What is as is called as?
as it is, what currently they are having.
There is a proper term. Anil, I had used the term. That's the reason
Yeah,
I'm.
it is.
Hmm?
It's a blueprint.
All right. See, I understand what you're trying to say, but the proper word is it is a non-SAP environment, or it is also known as legacy environment. Okay. Legacy environment. Legacy is the non-SAP system. This is as is process. Okay. As is process is nothing but the process which is not in SAP environment, which is in the legacy environments. Okay. Remember that. So here it says that, see, submission of hardware plan, it is on this date, and completion of study and finalization of as is process document, this one, and then finalization of blueprint process, and also completion of code team training, completion of integration testing, end user training. All these things, like timeline for these milestones, would be mutually agreed between client and ERP implementer using the finalization of the project plan. This can be agreed at that time. Go live including data uploads 4 months since the start of the project. Within the after 4 months since the start of the project is the time for data uploads and going live. an on-site support and hand-holding period for a period of 6 months from date of go live. All right. So remember this initially, since you're doing this at this stage, what I say is you prepare one Excel notes. In that you mention these milestones, serial numbers, milestones, tentative dates. You fill up your dates according to your CV, according to your experience which you're planning, according to your project which you're keeping. That project start date and end date you will be planning, right? So from that project start date and end date, you need to plan these milestones. This will really help you in preparing yourself for the interview. This is where most of the times candidates fail. These are the areas, because you actually in training no one will be giving this much of idea, I know that. But since the learner does not have these ideas, if a question comes out like saying like when was the as is document finalized, or what is the start of the project, or when is your project kickoff meeting started, it is a there will be no answer, right? Sometimes what happens, learner will be a little active, they give some date. And it happened with my one of my learner. They had given one date, he immediately checked that, and that day is a Sunday. It happens because it is of not preparing ourselves well, right? So once you prepare these areas, it will help you to understand this properly, and you can be preparing your interview. Two parts here for the job: clearing interview, surviving in project, and all the techniques which at this stage we are using to clear the interview. This also will help you to survive, but in the later course we'll understand how to learn those things where we can survive in the project. Okay. Now Anil, you are there, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. So you're following it, right? Any questions?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. See, now project location, it says that the location will be executed from client place, client offices. Okay. And here also it comes with the roles and responsibilities. The bidders will have to share roles and responsibility matrix, identifying clearly the following. What is that? Roles and responsibilities of the ERP implementer. Point one. Key roles and responsibilities as expected from client side. What are those? Involvement, full-time or part-time requirements, resources, the time availability of resources from client side, and roles and responsibilities of various team members within the implementation project. Okay, so these are for roles and responsibilities. Change request management. Now the methodology to manage changes in scope, scheduling during the course of project must be described clearly in a bid. Okay, it also, this particular area paragraph, it is also supporting the ERP implementer. Here see, the implementer will have to ensure that the change requests are adequately handled. Minor changes requests should not be handled by ERP implementer. Sorry, minor changes requests should be handled by ERP implementer within the scope of the existing project without any additional commercial implications. So small changes, yeah, it should be adopted and it should be given solution, but the ERP implementer should not charge the organization. That is what the document says here. Major changes could be additionally charged based on the per man month rate quoted in the financial bid. I'll also open the financial bid now in the next volume. So based on that, it will be coded. Now minor and major changes will be mutually agreed upon between ERP implementer and the client. Now here, problem resolution escalation matrix, this is also one important area, how you are escalating this when there is an issue. In case of any problems, issues during the course of the project, there should be detailed escalation matrix provided to ensure timely resolution of the issue. The escalation matrix should help provide a quick and orderly method of notifying client and ERP implementer. That is, that an issue is not being successfully resolved or not. So at the bottom here we have this issues here, like this is level of escalation and client and the ERP implementer. Okay, this is one table here. In the next slide I have that particular process. What it says here, escalation should take place on an exception basis, and only if successful issue resolution cannot be achieved in a reasonable time frame. Either client or the implementer can initiate the procedure. Initiator should promptly notify the other party that the management escalation will be initiated. So it means a acknowledgement should be sent once a request is raised. So management escalation will be defined as shown in the contract map as shown below. Okay, there is a map which is there. In the next volume I'll show that, and also we'll see the bidding process. So this is one bidding process, right? Now here the bidding process will involve following steps. What is that? Issuance of request for proposal is on this particular date. Last date for receiving clarifications, pre-bid meeting, submission of pre-qualified bids, technical financial bids, presentation to the evaluation committee by pre-qualified vendors, opening of financial bids, contract finalization, and project launch and kickoff meeting. So these are again steps. When you are preparing, I want you to prepare with Excel sheets all these inputs. Plan your dates properly, mention the dates and show it to me. Clear, right? Now to enable you to prepare the proposal, a list of attached document formats have been provided. Like what? There are some documents which are templates are provided for this request for proposal. Now evaluation of bids, again the bid submitted by the ERP implementer will be evaluated as per the following procedure. What is that? First level of evaluation will be for the pre-qualification bid as mentioned below, and then like only for those firms who fulfill the eligibility criteria in the pre-qualification bid will the technical and financial bids be opened. Second level of evaluation will be the basis of technical bid. The third and final evaluation will be techno-commercial bid based on the combined scores of the technical and financial bids. Okay. So here, of course, this is completely sales point of information. This particular bid and all. It says that compulsory criteria is like, if you see this, compulsory criteria is like this. These criteria are absolutely essential for the bidder to possess. What is that? They has to be bidder. Has the bidder been incorporated in India and operating from last 3 years? If it is yes, then copy of the letter of incorporation should be submitted. And is the office location of bidder in area 1 or area 2? Do you know how to see this? Did you ever have seen this corporation certificate? How it looks like? Incorporation or certificate for company? Any idea? Incorporation, letter of incorporation. Anil?
No idea.
No idea.
Try to find out. If not, I'll show you. Just to give an idea. Okay. Of course, interviewer he will not ask this particular point. That's the reason I'm not stressing this, because this is completely sales side. This information, but generally there is a standard format. Okay. Likewise, is office's location of bidder in particular areas? Also, has the bidder implemented SAP for at least 3 customers in financial service firms? If yes, what are the references? An important criteria is like these are important parameters. What are those? Like at least it should satisfy 3 out of 5. What is that? Does the bidder have minimum annual turnover of 50 crores for each of the last 3 financial years? and is the bidder profit making in 2 of the last 3 years. If it is yes, then certified copies or audited balance sheets. And has the bidder been in business for SAP implementation for at least 2 years? And bidder should have at least 150 consultants. Bidder should have at least 25 SAP certified consultants. Okay. Have you seen certification? How it looks like? Any other chances?
We have
Certified.
friends who
Mhm. What is that?
they have completed FI certification.
Have you
So
seen the certificate? How it looks like?
I have seen, but I don't remember.
Anil? No, right? I think I have a copy here somewhere. I have a copy. I'll show it. Okay. I kept it for external references
There is
just to show, because at least we if we see that kind of information, we'll feel how it looks like, right? Once we know that
mm,
this is the format, sometimes in interview some information is required, we can confidently talk about it, right? So anyway, I'll show that. I'll remember that and I'll show that. I have that copy just to show you. I kept it. Anyway, so here it says that out of 5, at least 3 should be fulfilled by the bidder. Okay, like this. And technical bid is completely for technical environment. Like, bidder successful in pre-qualification bid only will be considered for further technical evaluation. What is that? Reference checks would be conducted by ABC either by contacting the suggested client or by a document of proof signed by the suggested client. Likewise, technical evaluation team of client ABC and our consultants authorized by ABC will scrutinize the bidder's response, including evaluation criteria and technical responses. So this is project terms and conditions, like what is the payment methods, payment milestones. Now here comes that amount. How for implementer, how the client is making the payment. Payment milestone is part A, part B. Part A is license fees 100% at the start of the project. Part B is implementation fees as detailed below. Part A means license fees 100% paid initially, and the rest of the story goes like this. Acceptance of the order and signing of the contract, 10% of the project volume will be paid. Finalization of the blueprint, 10%. Completion of integration test, 20%. Completion of end user training, 20%. User accepting testing completion and go live, 25%. Completion of post go live support and hand holdings, another 15%. If you count, it is now almost 100% here. So this is how the implementation partner will get its revenue. Okay. So achievement of milestones will be certified by program managers after auditing the deliverables. Now this is SLAs. SLA, most commonly the term which we use is SLA, service level agreements. The SLA mentioned below will need to be included in the contract subsequently. This SLA will be applicable to the post go live hand handling on-site support. Okay, and AMC. AMC is annual maintenance contract. So the service type will be defined as per the problem reported, generated, and the metrication will be done based on this. Okay. Here initial response for these are the priority levels of an issue. This is the initial response, how it happens, and this is the complete analysis resolution responses. Okay. Initial response, if it is a critical issue, within 1 hour, initial review, category identification, sufficiency of information with the problem report, and assigned to the individual for analysis. This is the expected action. Critical, 1 hour. Within 1 hour, this should be done. High priority within 4 hours. Medium priority within 8 hours. Low priority within 16 hours. This should be expected action. Okay. And if you look at the complete analysis and resolution for critical issues within 4 hours, detailed analysis of the problem report, root cause analysis, potential risk, impact, effort estimate, effort estimate for resolution and closing of the problem. All right. If it is a high priority, 1 working day. Within 1 working day, this no result should be expected. Likewise, within medium, 7 working days. Low, 10 working days. This is the timelines, okay? Service level agreements, which is mentioned here. Critical means showstopper.
I think
Server,
they support project, right?
this is hand holdings for support.
Okay.
So that's the reason it's clear. See, SLA mentioned below will be needed to include contract subsequently. This SLA will be applicable to the post go live hand holdings and on-site support and annual maintenance contract. After only.
Okay.
Okay. So here, what is a critical? Critical is identified as showstopper. Means server will be affected and configuration will be affected. Application breakdown, crash. It has a serious implication on running the production server and has affected or may affect greater than 50% of users. That is considered as critical. High means serious degradation of the application performance, has impacted majority of the business process, risk of significant data loss, affected or may affect around 10 to 50% of the users. And moderate means it is in application performance, no implications on the data integrity and minimal or no impact on day-to-day operations, and has affected or may affect less than 10% of the users. When compared to the low, low applications are stable. Low means applications are stable and has no impact on day-to-day working and has affected or might affect a single user. So these are the classifications here: critical, high, medium, low. Okay. So all this information which you are seeing here is necessary for any of the consultant, and if you are keeping support project, this should be understood. SLAs, you prepare a template for SLAs. You as it is prepare this. Okay, I want you to prepare in Excels independently, separate, so that once you prepare, you will understand and you will keep this in your mind for a long time. You prepare SLAs, you prepare also the this is actually not required for how the budgeting is done, how the payment is done, but if you want to go through this particular areas, you can go through, but SLAs mandatory for you. Okay, this bidding process, you can include this. Okay, in your Excel sheet you include all this information, because you can plan your dates for the projects more accurately. You can answer at the time of interview. Fine. So these are
Yeah.
the 3 documents which is very much essentials to understand prior to the our configuration. Now the next session onwards, what we're gonna do here is, now since I wanted to give you idea on RFP, request for proposal, I've made it clear now. The second stage is we'll be working with SAP GUI. So next session I'll do, I'll send you some software. I'll show you how to do the installation of this SAP GUI in your system. You have SAP GUI installed? Shiva?
No.
No, right? Anil? No, right? So I'll show you how to do this installation and all in the next session. And then after that, we'll start working with SAP screens. Most of us, even I challenge to the real-time consultant who are working, most of them does not know complete screen structure. They does not know what is the complete screen structure. They know how to use it, but they don't know what are the facilities and functions which are available in the screens. So we'll go with the SAP screen structures, and then the next day we'll start working with enterprise structure. So whatever I open in this particular explanations, what are the documents, what are the presentation slides, and what are the others blueprints or any scenarios which I open, I'll share all those documents to you, which is required. Okay, along with this I'll also share some course materials which has some screenshots and running notes also. You can follow that also for your configuration, just in case if you are, if you just due to some reason if you are diverted, you can just come back to the track using the documents also.
Okay. So are you sharing this RFP
Yeah,
document?
yeah, I'll share this RFP documents to you.
because I'll again send that Excel sheet.
Yeah, definitely. You see, in your case, I need to get two Excel sheets, one from Triveni and
Yes.
one from you.
Yes.
Okay, but don't copy and paste it, Triveni.
No, no.
Prepare yourself. See, the whole idea here is like definitely each one should get acquainted with this knowledge. You should get used to this knowledge. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, so for today I'll stop the session here, and next session it will be more on the installation side. I'll send you the file and then I'll show you how to do the installations. That part, of course, it will not take much time. I believe you people have good internet connection.
Yes.
Anil?
Yeah.
All right, fine. Fine then. For today, I'll stop the session, and tomorrow same time we'll take up.
Okay.
Initially, another 2 days it will be little slow. Once we are
Okay.
on track, then we'll pace it up little bit. I don't want to pace heavily at the initial stage, but later we'll see that.
Okay.
This is this
Yeah, yeah. Fine. And what I'll do is I'll convert this recording and then I'll upload it in and I'll send it to your IDs, email IDs.
Okay.
You'll get this within 1 hour, less than 1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah. So any questions from the topics covered?
No questions.
I'm sure. Yeah, Anil.
No questions. No questions.
So what I'll do is I'll share these documents. Of course, there are so many documents to be shared. This is very small thing which I'm talking about. Even I'll show you some wonderful things which definitely you should be, uh, preparing well. So what I say is like the document which I'm sharing, you don't keep it as a library. You read that and make use of that, and come up with this the assignments. Like tomorrow, I'll be asking you again some questions, basic questions from those documents. You should be at least be ready to give some answers to that. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Uh, is it an implementer responsible to take care of testing also? Testing.
Very good. So usually testing also included, and it's a part of ERP implementer. If because it is not separately mentioned in our RFP, right? In our RFP, which you have seen, they have not mentioned separately saying that the testing team is separate. They mentioned that testing is also one deliverable, right? So in this case, ERP implementer will be doing this, but actually this event is a cost for the client. So even client can also have or outsource this particular project to another ERP implementer or another team, another legal entity. It can also do that. It can divide this particular project, separate it, and also give that testing to another ERP implementer. But usually, since the agreement which we have seen here, it has not mentioned separately. So the answer for your question is it is done by ERP implementer only. Okay. We have seen many projects like data migrations. This is separated. Testing. This is separated. Implementation separated. Support separated. Okay. Like this is given to data migration given to Accenture, for example, Accenture, IBM, okay, Infosys, and Wipro, like this. It happens like that. I'm just talking about the high names only. There are many companies which are into implementations. Okay, many partners are there. Tomorrow we'll also talk about channel partnership. The term called channel partnership. I'll use that term. Next tomorrow session, I'll talk about the channel partnership, concept of channel partnership. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So we'll meet tomorrow same time. Have a nice
Okay.
day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.